Hello there folks, and thanks for joining me at my tying bench again. This time around I'm going to tie up an interesting pattern that I just come up with. I was out at a dollar store the other day and I happened to come across this skein of yarn here, and I said to myself that would make an awesome bugger pattern. Maybe I can create a leech pattern with it, and this is what I come up with here, and I want to share it with you in case you're ever in one of those stores and you happen to come across this type of yarn. Pick some up, because I think this pattern turned out really well. So I want to show you how I put it together, and when I'm done I'll show you how it looks when it's wet. And it's just a little leech pattern that I come up with. So I'll get this guy the vise here, a fresh hook in, and we'll get started. And the hook I'm using is a number 6 curved shanked streamer hook here. And I'm not putting any lead wire on this guy. I'm just using a 4 millimeter heavy tungsten bead for the bead. But if you wish, you can add some lead wire to make it a little bit heavier if you wish. There's no problem with that. I just prefer not to use it on this particular guy this time. And for thread, I'm using some UTC 70 denier in black, or rather 140 denier, sorry. So what we'll do is get our thread started here first, right behind that bead there. So going to start there, and I'm just going to get that start locked in, and I'm going to wrap back towards the barb there. So we'll carry our thread back. Okay, I'll stop right about at the point there and snip off the excess. Put a little wax on my thread there. Alright, so next is the tail. Now for the tail I just chose a dark brown marabou. Or you can, I tie them with black. I tied a couple with black as well, but I like the dark brown with the black. I like the way that color combination goes together. Now what I'll do, instead of using the tip here, I like to pull some of the more fluffy fibers off the side of the marabou palm. So, and I don't want a heavy tail on it. Put a medium amount of fibers, not too over. I don't want it too overwhelming on this fly. I want to have lots of movement in the water where it's a leech pattern. So I'm just going to wet that. It's a little easier to manage when you wet it down. Okay, so I'm going to measure that up. I want it about the length of the hook itself. We're pretty close, and I'm going to tie that in with a pinch wrap here on top. Okay, and then I'm going to pull up as I come up. And what I'm going to do is wrap down, and I actually want to come down on the bend a little bit. And the reason I do that is if you wrap down on the bend, you'll find it'll prevent a lot of fouling when you're fishing the fly if you wrap your tail down on the bend a little bit with these patterns. And I'm going to snip those ends off up by the bead here. We'll snip those off close to the bead. Okay. Now I'm just going to bring my thread up, and I'm going to catch that in here like so, and then we'll wrap that down nice and secure there. Do that, go back and forth a couple times there, make sure that's in there nice and tight. Alright, there we go. Okay, now I usually add a little bit of flash to my leech patterns, not much at all, just one strand on each side of the tail. And you don't have to, you could omit that if you don't want to put the flash in, but I just got a little copper flash here. And I like to put one strand on each side, so I'll tie it in on my side first here. Turn the vise a little bit. Okay, tie that in there. Then I'll flip it around on this other side there and do the same. Just check that it's going down along the side like so. That looks pretty good to me. Alrighty, and I'll wrap back up here. Now I'm going to snip that same length as this tail, or a little longer, doesn't hurt. There we go. And that just gives one strand of flash going down each side. Alright, so next I'm going to make a loop here. Or no, sorry, not a loop. I was thinking of another fly there. Sorry about that. My bad. Now we're going to take this material here, and it's almost like zonker strips more or less, and it has a skin on it there, like a synthetic skin on the back. And I trim a little bit of that off for a tie-in point. We'll trim some of that there. Okay. Now I'm going to catch that in here. Put a little wax on my thread once again here. Okay. Tie that in right on the top here. Nice snug wraps. Okay, that should be fine. Now we'll go forward all the way up to behind the bead here. Alrighty. Now I'm going to make a half hitch here. I'll make a couple here, a couple half hitches right behind the bead. Now, I'm going to swing my bobbin cradle over, like so, rest the bobbin there. Alright, so now, I could use my rotary, but wrapping this stuff I like to do it by hand, so I'm just going to do it by hand here. I have more control over this stuff that way. And you want to wrap it the same as you would a zonker strip, just one wrap right in front of the next. And I'm going to pull nice and snug after every couple wraps. Then I'm just going to stroke the fibers back. Okay, it looks pretty messy once it's done, but we're going to trim it to shape after it's all wrapped here. So we'll just stroke those back. Keep wrapping forward. One wrap right in front of the next here. You can see how it fills in really nice. Doesn't take long. It's a really cool yarn. It's the first time I've ever seen it in that store, so I had to pick it up and tie something with it. So I'm hoping you can find some of this and tie a few of these leeches, because I think it's going to be a killer pattern. Okay, we'll stroke those back, and we'll do a couple more wraps. Should be plenty. Last one right next to the bead, like so. Alright, so I'm going to come up around. I'm going to move that bobbin cradle out of the way. Now when you come up around, I like to take my thread and just wiggle that so it goes in behind that hide there. Come in and wiggle our thread and come in. Then I'm going to push everything back. I'm going to make 3 or 4 tight wraps. Actually more than that, to make sure that's locked in nice and tight. A little bit of wax on my thread. I'm going to come in behind one more time. Just like so. Do that once again. A few wraps in front. Alright, well there we have it. It's wrapped. Now I should be able to come in and trim that no trouble at all. It's locked in there really well. Trim that close. There we go. Okay. And there, I know it looks pretty wild now. It doesn't look like much, but you'll see here you'll see how I trim it here. Okay, a few wraps. Now I'm going to do a whip finish, but before I do, I'm going to take a little bit of Zap-A-Gap here, or whatever super glue you have, and put a few drops on the thread here before I do my whip finish, just like so. So just make sure that's locked in there well. I'll take my whip finisher here. We'll come up right behind the bead here. Make a 5 or 6 turn whip finish. Alright, come down. Make sure that's in there nice and tight. Okay. Now I'm going to seat the knot really well here, pull nice and tight, okay. Come in and trim that off, nice and close. Okay, now there's the tying part. As you can see, it's pretty wild looking at the moment, but we're going to trim all that, so. Okay, and I like to take it out of the vise for the trimming, so I'm going to pop him out of the vise here. And hopefully you can see this here. I'll try to keep it as close as I can for the trimming. I may have to take it out of the camera for a bit to do some of it. Now I just want a little slender body like a leech on it, so I'm going to use my synthetic scissors for that, for cutting synthetics. Now we're just going to come down and we're going to trim all the way around first to start. Okay, keep trimming here. Alright, as you can see, that's what we got. That's how it's going to look once we're done. Just trim a nice skinny body on it. You can add a little taper to it if you wish. It trims really easily, cuts easy. I just thought it was a really cool fly, so I wanted to share this with you. Okay, keep trimming here. Okay. Alrighty. Takes a little while, the trimming takes the longest, a lot longer than tying the fly itself. This takes the longest here. So just bear with me, folks. Okay. I'll grab my other scissors here to finish this with here. Okay. I'll use these longer ones here. Alright, sorry. Got that out of camera there. Wasn't paying attention. Just watch when you get back towards the tail. I like to leave a few fibers towards the tail like so. I like to leave a few at the back to blend in with the marabou. Okay, and we want to cut it down along the bottom so we got lots of gape there for hooking the fish. We don't want to crowd the gap of the hook there too much. As you can see, there's plenty there for hooking the fish right there, so just about got the shape I want here. It doesn't have to be perfect because of course a leech is not perfectly symmetrical or anything when it's going through the water, that's for sure. Alrighty, so that's good. Just about done. Don't want to cut it too long here. I'll get it close for the video, but that's fine right there. I'll probably leave it right where it is here. A couple more little cuts and we're done. Alright, there she be. I'll stick him back in the vise here so you can see him. Alright, there we go. And that's what it looks like when it's trimmed, folks. I actually want to trim just a little bit more off of there. So I'll leave him in the vise for that. And just use the rotary. A little bit on the sides I want to trim there. Just so it's even all the way around there. It doesn't have to be perfect, of course. And as you can see, I got a few fibers out the back there with the marabou. Just fine, that's what I want. And that's good. I better not trim any more on that guy. Like same as trimming deer here, you gotta know when to stop. That's for sure. One little spot there I want to trim out. That looks pretty good, folks. I don't want to be too picky on it here, or we could end up having a long video. Alright, that's fine. I'd probably maybe neaten that. I'll neaten that up a little bit later, but actually it doesn't have to be. I'm just going to take a couple more cuts. Okay, that's fine. So there, I don't put any more cement there because I seated the knot with some super glue, so that knot's in there really well. So anyway, that's how it looks, and I just got a little dish of water here. I'm going to put it in the water. I want to show you what it looks like when it's wet, so just bear with me here. I'm going to get it in the, let it soak in the water for a bit here, and I'll show you folks that it looks pretty leechy once it's wet. Alright, get the excess water out of it there. Alright, now I'm going to stick it back in the vise and show you how that sucker looks when it's wet here. Looks good. It's a sharp looking pattern, I think. Alright, get him back in the vise. There you go. Now as you can see, that material, it gets a lot skinnier when it gets wet. And the tail, it looks pretty leechy to me. I think it's definitely going to work well for trout and bass too, I can imagine. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Come along with me while I tied this leech. And like I say, if you happen to be in a dollar store or whatnot and see some of that type of yarn, definitely grab some of it and give this guy a try. It's a pretty simple tie. Like I say, the longest part of it is trimming it down, trimming the body to shape. But I thought it was pretty cool. So, if you haven't, if this is the first time viewing, you haven't seen my videos before, like I always say, hit that good old subscribe button if you wish to subscribe. I appreciate that, and a like too if you wish. And it all helps my channel out. And if you have any comments, put them down below. I like hearing from you all out there. So until next time, folks, like I always say, happy tying out there, and I'll see you all again soon. So long for now.